Hey, 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 I'm back again. That's right. It's me, Davina Dandridge, and this is Brains and Baubles Live. This is where we meet every week at 6 p.m. and we talk about my special brand of emotional intelligence and the bling concept. The bling concept is the concept that I talk about. It's the concept that I use in my life and I share with the people that I coach. It is the concept that simplifies emotional intelligence in a way that you can apply it in every area of your life. And you know what? I haven't coached with my guests right now, but today my guests are a couple who really have implemented emotional intelligence. And just like we promised, they are going to talk about how they use emotional intelligence to strengthen their marriage, to plan for the things and the outcomes that they want for their life and the lives of their children. So without further ado, this is a couple that I've watched for such a long time. They're a cute couple. They are related to me. I want to introduce you to James and Ashley Thues. All right, until they come on in. I see Ashley's face. They're going to be on in a second. Can't wait to talk to them. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi there. How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Good.
Good, good. Welcome to Brains and Baubles Live. It's so good to have you on. And James, you're kind of doing disappearing acts, but that's okay.
Can you see me now?
Yeah,
Am I
you're
good?
in there right now. I introduced you guys as a couple that I have watched for so long who really exemplifies how to apply emotional intelligence into a marriage. Because I think that, especially for someone with little girls, and I'm speaking as a former little girl, you always dream about marriage and what your life is going to be like, who that person is, the Prince Charming, if you will. I don't know what guys do, James. Maybe you can shed some light if guys have a fantasy about getting married. My husband says it's just something that happens. Don't know that it's a fantasy for guys, but we always, as women, have in our mind this fantasy about finding that person, getting engaged, beginning a family together, having that commitment of marriage and what it's really like. And I think a lot of times that fantasy is just that, and reality hits and it's something totally different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Ashley, when we talked the other night, I said that the reason why I wanted to interview you guys is because I remember the article that you wrote for Black Love, it was for the website for the Black Love television program. And it just really spoke to what we're talking about right now, the compromise, the whole idea that it isn't perfect. James, why don't you go ahead and just, if you could, just enlighten the women viewers on what it's like when a man finally finds someone that they are ready to make that commitment to and go through the challenges that marriage really entails.
Oh man, it's I don't know how else to explain it, but it's almost like watching the Animal Channel, and it's like we're hunters, so when we finally catch our prey, it's like you know it's hard to explain to people. We don't want to explain to people. You
You don't
just
want
see,
to.
but you just see by our actions on why this person is for us, and that's pretty much how I felt about Ashley. When I was able to get back in contact with her after college. We went to the same high school, so just seeing her again, and it
Is it
was just,
something where something about her just stuck in your craw? Is like you may not have been able to articulate it or put a finger on what it was about Ashley. Like, I read your story and I know parts of your story. Like, at one time it didn't work, and then even though it didn't work, you made a conscious decision to take a break, to find out other things, and then it did work. So was it something about Ashley that just really stuck with you, that you remembered her and wanted to give it a try those times?
Yeah, it was more like I tell people you can fall in love, but to like somebody is different. You know, if I like you, then I'm gonna stick around. If I want to be around you and you make me laugh, we
Mhm.
we hit it off on just conversation. If I want to take a ride with you and just be in your presence, for a man, that's like everything. So she had that it factor to me that, I just would rather see her smile like the UGK song. I would rather see them frown and I would rather see her smile. That it
Well, you
was it
always
was
got
that
to
simple.
revert back to music. I get it.
Yeah, it was that simple. It was just like, you know, I'd rather keep fighting a fight with her than anybody else because I like her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashley, what were you thinking with the back and forth? I know that, after reading the article again, it was like at one point you made the decision and, it took James by surprise. But then there was another time where James was like, look, this is where the rubber hits the road. You're either gonna, or get off the pot.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
were you that same fantasy girl? Am I speaking for all women when I talk about how we viewed marriage before we actually got into marriage? Or am I just, just thinking about myself and you have a different story?
No, I think you hit it spot on. I think most girls dream about being married,
Yeah,
and they probably dream about the wedding more than the actual marriage.
I believe that.
But it's something that we all think about. I know my parents were married 42 years
Good.
and they were high school sweethearts. And, I kind of watched them go through marriage and the joys, the ups and the downs. And so I knew that I wanted to be married and I knew that like a commitment was important to me. Um, but when you're faced with it, it's scary, it's really scary. Like it comes to a point where you haven't gone through anything like that to be completely vulnerable with someone. And a lot of times we all are putting up a front, like we don't want to be made a fool of, or we don't want to make the wrong choice.
We have to let down our pride. I always talk about that. If
Yeah.
you really want to find love, you have to learn to become vulnerable. If you didn't have the example of a 40-year marriage or even a marriage like my parents had, you might not understand that vulnerability is the key to the intimacy.
It is the key. It is the key to be able to be what I call like completely naked with somebody, where they see you. And, whether it is fear or pain or sheer joy or, encouragement, like you need to be vulnerable in order to receive love. And so
absolutely,
I think for me going through it, it was such a powerful feeling. The connection that me and James had together or have together is such a strong feeling. And
don't you feel like at each level it's different? Like when you're dating and you're monogamous, you've made the conscious decision that I'm committed to you and you're committed to me, but of course it's not legal. There's one type of feeling. And I like to say that there are levels to all of it, the intimacy, the vulnerability, they all come in levels. And as you grow and become more committed to one another, then those levels expand. So when you're just a couple dating and you're serious, that's one level. When you get engaged, it's another level. And then when you're married, something totally different. But what I can say, it's not like the storybooks.
It's not. It's definitely not. And I think that
James, I see you biting your lip.
Like, no,
it's not like the storybook.
But I feel like each level presents like a different opportunity for growth. And like, I feel like the foundation gets stronger with each level, like some of the things that you go through, career, family, health, all of those challenges, like when you come out on the other side, like you're so much stronger because of that, and so the beautiful thing is being able to have somebody that you can go through that with and know and really trust that this person has your best interests at heart.
Someone that totally understands like those like my husband and I, and I've seen you guys relocate, and you did it strategically, which makes sense. I think sometimes we hold on to where we're from, what we are accustomed to, what we know, so much that we don't have that freedom. And it is scary. But the thing about having a partner there to do it with you is that you are sharing these new experiences with someone. And so it does make you stronger, because those nights where you really can't explain to even a sibling how low it can feel sometimes, and you have that person right there that's experiencing with you the very, very low, but then and they're experiencing the great high as well. When you do move, or you go to a place that you want to live, or you're doing something intentional to bring growth to your family. Speaking of intentional and growing families, I have seen you guys in action, and you are like a well-oiled machine when it comes to those babies. I mean, you guys can almost do it without speaking. And I used to think I had one that I was responsible for all of the time, but you guys, you have definitely more than one. And I asked my girlfriend one time, she has 2 children that are close in age. I said, how did you do that? 2 car seats, 2 this, 2 that. She said, you do what you have to do. You just get it. And you guys get it done. How is that to see yourself, and I'm just going to share a bit of your business, moving away from support with the kids, and then moving on the other side of the country, just the 2 of you with 4, sometimes 5 babies at home. How did you do that? I mean, what was your was there a conscious decision, like, we can do this together because I know that you have my back, let's take this leap? Or was it something that one of you had to sell the other one on?
No, because like our backstory, when we met back up, and I was just about to go overseas and play basketball. She was living in Connecticut, working for ESPN. And she eventually came and saw me over in Sweden. And our first real date was in Cleveland. I drove to Cleveland because like I said, she was there for work. And just our whole existence has been about us, about like these 2 kids from Detroit.
Making it happen almost, where it needs to happen.
Just making it happen, and just being adventurous, and just living a life that we were almost like living a life that we want to live with each other. And it's like a lot of people don't know, like I drove, how many days it took us? I drove across country to get to Vegas, with little babies. So it was strategic. And what was the selling point is just looking at sunshine, blue skies, palm trees, mountains. And it was just self-explanatory. It was just like, hey, let's go tackle that for a minute and see how that feels. And that's just the type of people we are. We got each other back.
And let me say, our families do think that we're crazy, by the way. Like, they're not like we are. I think what James is also just kind of alluding to is who we are. We're both like explorers by nature. We love travel. We love an adventure. And, we have confidence in the fact that we can survive. Like, we have skill sets that we know if we are put in a situation that we are going to survive. I don't know if that's the Detroit in us, or if it's just that we have, been around and exposed to different places and people, but it's not as scary as you probably think. We're on a mission to like live life and to show our children how to live life and how to pursue dreams and goals. And so that makes it very easy for us. Once we're both like, okay, let's do it, then we make it happen.
Well, you know what? That is like the crux of emotional intelligence, is being able to balance your emotions to the point where you can plan and understand how to create certain outcomes in your life. I mean, my whole premise is to create a life of happiness, and you can't do that by happenstance. And if we don't reach out for the happiness, the blue skies, the palm trees, that type of thing, or adventure, if that's what we want, we're not going to get it, because it's not going to fall in our lap, right?
Nope.
And I mean, you guys exemplify emotional intelligence because you have set goals. It's obvious in your careers that you have set goals and accomplished goals, but also as a couple, the ability, because I know it couldn't be easy. There has to be compromise. There has to be vulnerability. There has to be also boundaries in a certain way in order to keep a level of balance for the children. I know that there has to be some type of boundary. Ashley, when we were talking the other day, I was saying, well, so what are you guys planning to do? What's going to be next? What are some of the things that you're interested in doing? And the first thing that you said was traveling. And just like raising small kids, 4 small kids all at one time is something that you can do because you just do what you have to do. Is there any plan for another big move that you'd be willing to share with the audience right now? Just something that maybe have popped in the conversation recently.
Yeah, well, one thing, we do love the blue skies and the palm trees and the
Can't
mountains
blame you
and
for
the
that.
views. And but we know that this is a vast world, and Vegas is nice for now, but I don't know if Vegas is always going to be nice, like I would love to, and both James and I feel this way, but we would love for our kids to live abroad,
Okay.
experience different cultures and, meet different people and food and history and culture and to see it firsthand. So, will I be here? Will we be here forever? Well, no, but we're definitely open to exploring. So yeah, nothing that's like planned right now, but definitely some ideas that are floating out there on, maybe what's next for us.
That sounds awesome. And, I think that coming from a humanities background and understanding the importance of experiencing cultures and other cultures and understanding history and how it impacts today. And especially with young children where all they've known is technology, but to get them out of a space where they're doing the same thing over and over and maybe experiencing a lifestyle that's a little more laid back or a little less connected. I think that's great. A couple of weeks ago, when I was doing my emotional reset challenge, I had someone ask me, how do you start showing children about emotional intelligence? Can you give a tip about what is something maybe you guys do to kind of guide your children to, either thinking about themselves in a certain way or recognizing someone else's emotions when solving conflicts? Is there something that you guys do?
Yeah, I mean, I would say our children, we really try to focus on their emotional safety, security, and their ability to like express themselves. We are not parents that are like, be quiet and, just be seen and not heard. Like that's not how we operate. So, understanding and helping them navigate these emotions that most of them are learning for the first time in life, with anger, frustration, disappointment, happiness, all of that. And so like we try to keep a really open communication with our kids. Like we talk to them constantly. How was your day? Tell me about the best thing. What was your high? What was your low? If now we have a 3rd grader who is in the throes of friendship drama. And it's like, oh, so how did that make you feel? What did you say, or what could you say next time, and so like having those conversations to help them kind of put things in perspective. But really, I think for both of us, it's really dialogue and open communication with them constantly.
I like that you said you give them the freedom to express themselves. And I think that that's what stifles so many people. They look internally when they're going through something because they've never been given the opportunity to freely say how they feel without being told, or you shouldn't feel that way, or or just be quiet, or you're silly, or because someone else isn't experiencing what they're experiencing, even if they live in the same house. I always talk about my sister and I, that we grew up in the same house, same mom and dad, all of the same things, but we have two different experiences.
Right.
Even from our childhood, because we are not the same people. I think that's great, that you allow them to express themselves, and going through the situations with them and allowing them to know that they can come to you. It definitely will save children from, trying to figure out life's hard questions on their own. They can't do it, on their own, because it is all new. It is all new. So, James, I want to get to the thing that you knew I was going to bring up, the music. What's going on?
I'm back in the lab, working on new music.
Okay.
Hopefully, I think I'm close to getting a steady gig out here in Las Vegas.
Okay. And would you share with the people
Mhm.
what it is you do, what type of music, where they could find any music to hear your music?
You can follow me at DJ15, spelled out ONEFIVE. Find me on Mixcloud. Let's see. I'm working on house music. That's what I play. Yeah, so that's what I do. That's what I do. Just be looking out for me. DJ15. You can find me on Instagram, DJ15, spelled out ONEFIVE. And I got a lot of new projects coming up.
Good, good.
Yeah.
We're always big supporters. Love your music. Love to hear you spin. We just love your music all together. So, guys, we know that travel is next. We know that you're concentrating on the kids. Personally, for each one of you individually, is there something that you'd like to work on to better your emotional health?
Yeah, I'll start. So I think for me, it's about executing. Like it can be overwhelming sometimes when you're managing and juggling so much. You're trying to manage and juggle the lives of like 6 people, 7 people at times. And so just trying to make sure that some of the things that we want to get done, that we can actually execute on it, and so I think that goes with, like you said before, goal setting, but also like breaking it down.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, if this is thy end goal, like what do I need to do to get there? And like break that down from a year out to, what I want to accomplish in 6 months, to what I want to accomplish in a month, to even what I want to accomplish each week. I don't necessarily go daily because the days sometimes get crazy, but I feel a little bit more accomplished when I can say, all right, I have 3 things on my list to accomplish this week. And I might not got it done Monday or Tuesday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I made up for it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
for me,
I
it's
like
executing.
that. I like that. I call that reverse engineering. Like I know what day I want to get it done, and I've already listed out the tasks that need to be done, and then I prioritize them. And then I have to be realistic with where I am with my schedule, with my other responsibilities, as to how soon or how far I could start the next phase. But the gratifying thing about doing it that way is you get all those little triumphs. And then the next thing you know, you are completing your goal. That's awesome. So yeah, I you know what? Sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm not. I just take a notebook, and I feel like if I write it down in a notebook, then I'll get to it. Because one day I'm going to say, okay, now what do I need to do? And then I'll have it down. James, what about you? Is there something that you are working on personally?
Yeah, just continuing to use my imagination and turn myself back into a little kid, as far as not worrying about what people think about what I'm doing, not worrying about my thoughts, just whatever hits me, go for it, and knowing that everything takes time, and take baby steps towards what you want to do, and not sharing
Oh,
everything that you want to do to everybody. Just do
preach,
what you want
brother.
to do, and then just, you know, just watch it formulate the way it's supposed to formulate, and just knowing that knowing I have to keep imagining and keep using my imagination and staying present within the moment,
Yes.
and not trying to think down the road too far, because
Yeah.
that's not your reality. Worry about your reality, what's in front of you, and how can you capitalize on that to create the best environment and peace for yourself at that moment.
You are speaking my language. I almost couldn't keep it in. The thing that I always have to tell myself is dream bigger, is because, we put the limits on ourselves. There is nothing that is beyond our goal, but we just have to see it, and then know that we can do it. Like you said, don't share with everyone, because we can let people talk us out of it. We can talk ourselves out of things. So keep it close to the heart and just let people know once you've done something. That's the way I look at it. Well, guys, I really appreciate you sharing this time with me today. This has been great. I think that your relationship is one to follow. I really appreciate seeing a family unit in the traditional sense, working together to build a life outside of constraints, and just really, really pursuing a great life for yourself and your children. So guys out there in the audience, listen, this is just another great example of how people are doing it. And if they are doing it, you can do it too. So take your hands and I should say, take your foot off the brake and start taking action on your dreams so you can create the life that you desire. So if you want more of this information, you better come back next Tuesday. You can see me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern for Brains and Baubles Live. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
See you later, cousin.